Every great civilization believed it was permanent. The Romans did, the Mongols did, the empires of the last century did, and today, we do too. We build our cities higher than ever before. Our machines think faster than we do. Our weapons can strike across oceans in minutes. We call it progress. We call it security. But what if we're wrong? What if the end of our world doesn't come from aliens or asteroids or some distant cosmic threat? What if it comes from us? Right now, 3 forces exist, all created by human hands, that could erase everything we've built. Each one works differently. Each one could end modern civilization in its own terrifying way. And the most dangerous part, you might never see it coming. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand how a global catastrophe could unfold in less than 1 hour. Why to fear 60 minutes matter more than anything that follows, and what silent trigger could already be in motion right now. Let's begin with the loudest possibility. Imagine it's 3:27 in the morning. A radar operator stationed in the Arctic stares at his screen. At first, it's just one blip. Then 5, then 20, then 50. They're climbing fast along a familiar path. The polar route used by intercontinental ballistic missiles. This isn't a drill. Within seconds, those faint red dots become unmistakable. Boosters tearing upward through the cold upper atmosphere. Multiple warheads separating in space, each one locked onto a different target, thousands of miles away. Modern nuclear arsenals are designed for speed, an overwhelming force, roadmobile missiles that can launch from forests or highways. Silo-based rockets that have waited decades for this moment. Submarine-launched missiles hidden beneath oceans, capable of firing from close to enemy coastlines, reducing warning time 2 minutes. Flight times across continents, often less than half an hour. That's all it takes. On one side, land-based intercontinental missiles rise from underground silos. From T-Siasu, BMARINEs, unleash their payloads missiles, carrying multiple independently targetable warheads, one launch vehicle, several cities. At high altitude, re-entry vehicles begin their descent, moving faster than sound, faster than thought. By the time political leaders confirm the attack, the decision window is almost gone. Retaliation becomes inevitable. Missiles launch in response. Submarines answer submarines. Silos answer silos. Bombers already in the air alter course and arm their payloads. In less than 20 minutes, hundreds of warheads are in flight across the northern hemisphere. Then comes the first flash. An airburst above a major city produces a white light brighter than the sun. At ground, structures vanish. Steel liquefies, concrete disintegrate. Beyond that, shock waves flatten neighborhoods, ignite fires, and shattered glass miles away. Temperatures at the center of detonation reach millions of degrees. Human beings caught nearby are erased instantly, but the blast itself is only the beginning. Within half an hour, electromagnetic pulses ripple across continents, power grids collapse. Transformers explode, satellites degrade from radiation and debris. GPS falters, financial networks fail. Communication systems go dark. The sky fills with streaks. Re-entry vehicles descending, more detonations, more firestorms. Urban areas burn, and when cities burn at that scale, something else happens. Massive firestorms inject black carbon and shoot high into the atmosphere. Not just into the clouds, but into the stratosphere, where rain cannot wash it away. That soot spreads globally, blocking sunlight. Simultaneously, radioactive fallout drifts across borders and oceans. Isotopes settle into soil and water. They contaminate crops. They enter food chains. They linger for decades. Even regions untouched by direct explosions begin to suffer. Within weeks, food systems fail. Global supply chains, already shattered by infrastructure collapse, cannot recover. Harvests decline under darkened skies. Water systems become unsafe. Medical services vanish. Scientists have warned that large-scale nuclear conflict could inject enormous quantities of soot into the upper atmosphere, cooling the planet dramatically. Temperatures could drop by double digits globally. Growing seasons would shorten or disappear entirely. The bombs might kill millions immediately. The aftermath could starve billions. Within an hour of the first launch, the outcome is irreversible. That is how quickly civilization could collapse. But here is the question that should disturb you even more. What if the next World War doesn't start with a missile at all? Look at today's flashpoints. Warships shadow each other in contested waters. Fighter jets intercept one another within kilometers. Military forces stand separated by mere miles, armed with advanced missile systems. Each side insists it is acting defensively. Deterrence works until it doesn't. 1. Miscalculation. 1 collision at sea. 1 radar glitch interpreted as aggression. For about 20 minutes, the side that strikes first may gain an advantage. That tiny window creates immense pressure, and pressure leads to mistakes. Modern warfare moves at speeds humans struggle to comprehend. Stealth bombers designed to evade radar. Cruise missiles capable of traveling hundreds of kilometers with precision guidance. Hypersonic glide vehicles maneuvering at extreme speeds, compressing decision time from minutes to seconds. Advanced fighter aircraft eliminating threats before pilots even see them. And then there is artificial intelligence. For the first time in history, algorithms are being integrated into early warning systems and defense networks. Machines can analyze sensor data faster than any human operator. They can detect patterns, flag anomalies, recommend responses. But what if an algorithm misinterprets data? What if a false signal triggers escalation? In nuclear strategy, minutes matter. A mistaken reading could cascade into retaliation before cooler heads intervene. The terrifying truth is this: a full-scale global conflict today would not resemble the wars of the past. There would be no months of mobilization, no drawn-out front lines. The decisive phase could unfold in less than an hour. And yet, as catastrophic as nuclear war would be, there is another threat that might be even more destabilizing because it arrives silently. Imagine waking up tomorrow and hearing nothing unusual. No sirens, no emergency broadcasts, just another normal day. But somewhere, in a crowded subway station, someone coughs. Biological warfare does not announce itself with mushroom clouds. It spreads invisibly, person to person, breath to breath, and unlike a bomb, a pathogen multiplies. History gives us sobering examples. The influenza pandemic of 1918 killed tens of millions worldwide in a world without modern air travel. The Black Death in the 14th century wiped out vast portions of Europe's population. These were natural events. Now consider modern biotechnology. Gene editing tools allow scientists to alter organisms with precision unimaginable decades ago. Synthetic biology enables researchers to assemble genetic material from basic components. Most of this research aims to cure disease, improve agriculture, and advance medicine. But knowledge can be misused. A deliberately engineered pathogen could be designed to spread efficiently before symptoms appear. It could be modified to resist existing treatments. It could exploit weaknesses in global healthcare systems. Let's imagine how such an outbreak might unfold. Day 1. A single infected individual moves through a busy transportation hub. No one notices. Day 3. Hospitals report unusual clusters of severe illness. It looks like the flu. Doctors treat it as routine. Day 5. Patients deteriorate rapidly. Standard treatments fail. Laboratories struggle to identify the pathogen. Meanwhile, international travel carries the infection across continents. By the time authorities realize something new is spreading, it is already global. Day 10. Governments impose restrictions. Borders close. Panic spreads faster than the virus. Supply chains fracture. Hospitals overflow. And here's the most dangerous element: attribution. If a nuclear missile launches, radar tracks it. Its origin is known. If a virus emerges, was it natural? Was it an accident? Was it deliberate? In the fog of uncertainty, suspicion grows. Nations accuse one another. Retaliation becomes a possibility not against a virus, but against perceived enemies. A biological crisis could ignite conventional conflict. Conventional conflict could escalate to nuclear exchange. Unlike bombs, Pathogens ignore borders. Armies cannot shoot them down. Missile defenses are useless against microbes. Even a virus that doesn't kill could destabilize societies, overwhelming healthcare, crippling economies, eroding trust in institutions. And then there's another unsettling possibility. What if the next global catastrophe isn't purely nuclear or biological? What if it's systemic? Modern civilization depends on interconnected networks, energy grids, satellite systems, financial platforms, communication infrastructure. A massive cyber attack could disable power for weeks. Without electricity, water treatment fails. Without satellites, logistics crumble. Without digital banking, economies freeze. Combine cyber warfare with misinformation campaigns, artificial intelligence, manipulation, and social unrest, and you have a recipe for collapse without a single missile fired. This is the new landscape of global risk. 3 forces: nuclear weapons capable of ending civilization in an hour, biological threats capable of spreading invisibly and destabilizing the planet, and technological systems so interconnected that their failure could trigger cascading collapse. Each was created by human ingenuity. Each was intended, at least in part, to strengthen nations. But strength can become fragility. So here is the question that lingers. Can catastrophes still be prevented? Diplomatic bacchanals exist. Crisis hotlines connect rival powers. Treaties attempt to limit arsenals. Scientists monitor emergent diseases. International organizations coordinate responses. But these safeguards require trust. And trust is eroding. Arms modernization continues. Hypersonic weapons are deployed. Cyber capabilities expand. Biotechnology advances faster than regulation can keep up. For the first time in human history, our tools are powerful enough to threaten the entire species. And yet, we also possess something unprecedented: awareness. We understand nuclear winter. We model pandemics. We simulate escalation scenarios. We know the risks. The future is not predetermined. Civilizations fall when they fail to recognize their vulnerabilities, or when they assume permanence. So, if you woke up tomorrow and the world felt normal, ask yourself this: how fragile is that normality? Because the real danger isn't just that a global catastrophe could begin with a flash in the sky. It's that it could begin quietly. A radar anomaly, a miscalculated maneuver at sea, a corrupted line of code, a cough in a crowded train. The first hour would decide everything. And the question we must confront is not whether these forces exist. They do. The question is whether humanity will learn to control the power it has unleashed before that power controls us.